What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Bengal Stripe Show, presented to you by the Love of Ball Network and brought to you by your two hosts, Braden and Gavin. Today, we have a very special guest. You may know him as Bengals Storm on Instagram. We got Nick. Welcome to the show.
Hey, pleasure to be here. Great being on these type of shows just to talk football. Finally going to have a football game in a few days. Been waiting since January for this, so finally at this moment where you can talk about something that's actually coming soon. And for everyone watching this, just make sure to follow all my pages for some great content: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, 513 podcasts on YouTube, all of that, and you'll be happy.
Yeah, all of that will be in the description. We'll link your socials. Everyone, go check out Nick. He's does a lot of stuff Cincinnati, a lot of cool interviews, and yeah, we're excited to have him on. We are going to be discussing the Cincinnati Bengals schedule, weeks 1 through 18. Well, I guess it'll be with the break for the bye week. Discussing just some stuff we're excited for the game, whether or not we think we'll win or lose, and honestly, we can just go one person at a game at a time, and if someone wants to chime in. So, Nick, let's start with you. Week 1 versus the Patriots. What are you thinking here?
I mean, usually like back then it's been like week one has been like just something to like dread over because we always with the Zach Taylor and Burrow era, except Minnesota in 2021, we've always been terrible. But this year, you're just looking for something different. We're playing guys in preseason this time. We're going completely revamped on offense and defense with coaching and personnel. So you're just hoping for something new to happen. And with like any specific position, I want to see what the rushing attack is like because this is a perfect opportunity. You have Mims. This should be a breakout season for Cordell Volson. And you don't have some elite pass rusher or run stopper to deal with this time like you would with a Miles Garrett or a TJ Watt. Judon, you don't know if he's playing week one because of contract disputes. And Christian Barmore with his blood clots injury. You could face a very weakened Patriots D line that could give you 150 rush yards if you lean into that ground game.
Yeah, and to kind of piggyback off that defense, I'm excited to see that Jamar Chase Christian Gonzalez matchup week 1. I think Christian Gonzalez is a very good corner. Obviously, didn't get showed a lot last year, but I'm excited for Jamar to really torch him and really set a good example.
Yeah, I would say so as well. I think our 12 personnel and 22 personnel lineup just absolutely dominates what the Patriots have, especially with Mike Gesicki. It's just going to be a mismatch, especially on their linebackers.
Yeah, absolutely. Braden, you want to lead us into week 2?
Week 2, we got the Kansas City Chiefs. We historically hate them. Uh, I'm going to start this one off, and I'm going to say we're going to get a big W, and it's just going to be just like last year. The Mahomes era, as of right now, is that they are lackluster but still decent in the regular season. I think we come out of there with a win. It boosts our confidence. We're going to ride it for a little bit. Nick, what are you thinking?
This game, I feel like we have KC's number. If there's like any team we like sign free agents for and make draft picks for any team, it's KC. So you got, I mean, we almost beat them at their place with Jake Browning. So obviously they're still like scared of us and whatnot. But a certain like battle I'm looking for that is like the set thing for it is the safeties and linebackers, just communication because last year, Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt, they even said themselves when we didn't have Von Bell, Jesse Bates, we had our worst years as players because we didn't have good communication. They're back now. They don't have to rely much with like having a role they're not good with and communicating. So it's just going to make the defense overall better in like just talking and getting picks and sacks on Mahomes that we didn't see really last year against him.
Yeah, and I think that in this game we're going to see a lot of Miles Murphy compared to obviously Sam Hubbard has been in and out of the training camp lineup. And I think this is a game specifically that will kind of lean that trust into Miles Murphy. Obviously, Sam will get a lot of reps, but we know obviously they're going to ground and pound with Pacheco. But the main threat
Pause.
is going to be that passing game.
Uh, yeah, I think so too. I think it's gonna be a huge game to see what Chase Brown can do. I like our speed compared to the Chiefs' defensive line. I think we, outside of Chris Jones, I think Chase Brown is a lot faster than the Chiefs' defensive line. But I'm also excited to see the T. Higgins legacy game that it's going to be. Me and Gavin have spoke about this. The safeties, linebackers, and cornerbacks for the Chiefs are actually kind of small. So that's why we're able to throw it into double coverage with T. Higgins, just because they're so small and T. Higgins can go up and just moss them pretty decently easy.
Yeah, and not counting Kyle Hamilton, you see that a lot with the Ravens as well. That a lot of their guys are a lot of undersized, and that's when you had the T Higgins 2 touchdown game last year. Even though I'm against the Ravens at home, so going into week 3, playing the Commanders, I see this as a win. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I see this as a fairly easy win, but I think this is going to be a week where we learn a lot of things. I like the Commanders' defense. Kind of like I like it a lot better than last year. I think they improved. Obviously, Bobby Wagner, Jeremy Chin, they got, and I like Kendall Fuller. I like Emmanuel Forbes. So I think this is actually going to be a lot more difficult than the 30-0 score we're expecting. I think it's going to be maybe a 2 touchdown game, but I think we're going to learn a lot. I think we're going to learn who our real rotation guys are and who we can rely on. What do you think, Braden?
This is going to be a gritty Monday Night Football game. A lot of people are sleeping on the Commanders. This is going to be like a beta Lamar Jackson game. Jane Daniels is going to be one of those guys that's going to scramble from the pocket. He's going to make a play happen. So when you sit here and you think about it, this is going to be a good test for the Ravens, but also it's going to be a good test for the running back room as well, because Austin Eckler is still Austin Eckler. Even though he had a down year last year, they still have Austin Eckler.
Yeah, what you said with like this game, it's mainly a test of like, can we contain Lamar Jackson later in the year? Can we contain the Mahomes, the Josh Allen, the Anthony Richardson, guys you might see in the playoffs with great speed? Because Jaden Daniels is a raw rookie QB that's just gonna scramble 50 yards every play like it's a game of Madden. But overall, it should be an easy win. Like, the coaches, the rosters, the whiteout advantage, overall, it should be a fairly easy win.
Yeah. So Nick, you want to lead us into week 4?
We play Carolina, right?
Yep. Sure do.
I mean, at the very least, we should be 3-1 with this stretch. I mean, it's just something you haven't had in a while, like an easy stretch of games to begin the season. While Carolina has gotten better, you should expect people to break out with their Bryce Young, Mingo. Might have Jonathan Brooks to deal with then, but they're still rebuilding. They have a rookie coach. It should be a fairly easy win where you can test out plays and hope. It feels like one of those Burrow games where he gets 400 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, and who do you want to see? So comparing the Chiefs to the Panthers game, do you think our wide receiver room looks different from those games to games? Do you think in the Chiefs games we see a lot of Trent Irwin and a lot of Yoshivas, and then in the Panthers game, do you think we see some more of like Charlie Jones, Jermaine Burton?
I think it depends on with like the cornerback room, because like maybe just with how much depth it is, because like 1 week you want to run the ball. Okay, we're going to see a lot of Tanner Hudson, Drew Sample, a lot of just a lot of big personnel groupings. And if you want speed, we might see Charlie Jones in there. We might see maybe if he makes it, Shedrick Jackson gets in for a few plays and you chuck a deep ball to him. It just depends on who you're facing. I don't know much about Carolina's defense, but like they lost Brian Burns, so you don't have an elite pass rush. So what you can do is that's when you test out single back, test out some deep shots, and it's like these are your easy games. This is when you experiment because Burrow's not entirely comfortable with single back yet. So this is a good time when you can do it when you are allowed to make mistakes.
For
Yeah,
sure.
I think like you said earlier, it's going to be one of those games where he throws for 400 plus yards and has a ton of touchdowns. Solely because the downfall of the Bengals in 2023, Nick Scott will be on that defense. No shade to Nick Scott. I loved him as a person. Was a terrible safety for the Cincinnati Bengals. Um, but I agree. I just think it's going to be a very matchup based thing. I think in Carolina, like you said, we're going to try out a lot of things. We're going to be on such a roll that we're not afraid to go in there and test out a few things. We've seen that with Zach Taylor in the past. When the Bengals go on a winning streak, he's not afraid to try out some stuff. And it's also when we're on maybe even a losing streak. I mean, hell, last year in let's see. Yeah, it was Jacksonville. Last year in Jacksonville, I mean, we were trying to throw fucking Tyler Boyd screen passes. Or we were trying to have Tyler Boyd throw screen passes. So, I mean, we're really not afraid to pull stuff out when times call for it.
Yeah, and I think these are the games to get it out of their system, especially leading into next week. Braden, tell me a little bit about week 5. Is this the first one? Is this in? No, this is at home versus the Ravens.
First home game against the Ravens, or against the division opponent. This game is going to be just absolutely a bloodbath. It's going to be a bloodbath. If It's going to be a very good Cincinnati Bengals team against a very good Ravens team. Geno Stone's going to carry a chip on his shoulder. Von Bell wants his get back for all those games that he missed. So when you think about this game, it's going to be a bloodbath. These guys are going to hit each other hard. Mark Andrews last year. Joe Burrow went down against the Ravens last year. They were screaming F Joe Burrow in the stands after he went down. This game's going to be one to see for sure.
I'll chime in real quick. This is completely
Yep.
unrelated. The Patriots just pulled out of the Brandon Ayuk sweepstakes, so down to Cleveland
Oh,
and
God.
Pittsburgh.
Oh my
So-
God.
Great.
Not fun. But if he goes to Cleveland, at least he'll rot, and they're getting rid of Amari Cooper. So that's the only hope we've got so far. Anyway, yeah, I like your takes on the Ravens. I think Derrick Henry is going to be a big factor in this game. Obviously, every time you think of Derrick Henry playing the Bengals, what do you think of? I think of, why does he have career games against us? Obviously, I don't know statistically if that's true, but he seems to beat the fuck out of us. Like, Derrick Henry loves playing against Cincinnati, and I think being in that Ravens uniform is going to only amplify that. But I think we're ready to stop it. We drafted, and we are really focusing on that defensive line, the run stopping aspect of it. And I think it's going to be a really good game, and I ultimately see us pulling out the win at home.
Yeah, with that Derrick Henry stat, I'm looking at it right now. He usually does not do that great against us. 2022, he had 2.2 yards per carry. The playoff game, he had 13 to 20 yards that game. So sometimes he'll go he only has actually 200-yard games against us out of 5 times, which is honestly good for playing Derrick Henry. But with Baltimore, the biggest factor for is the D line. Baltimore has 3 new starters on that offensive line, and we have Chris Jenkins, we have Rankins, we have McKinley Jackson, Miles Murphy breakout, Joseph Osai breakout. People finally have to step up in a game like this where Trey Hendrickson might get, if he ever gets shut out. Back then you think, oh crap, we're screwed. No one's getting pressure, no one's getting a sack. That's the biggest factor of the defense this year, is just a second guy going in there, getting some sacks. We have a guy that can get 7 to 9 in a year. And a game like Baltimore, like KC, those are the biggest games for stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think facing an offensive line like that is definitely going to help us and help our defensive line really communicate and join as one. Braden, anything else on that?
Yeah, I just want to see Mike Hilton go up and smack somebody in the face in the backfield. That's all I want to see. I just want somebody to get hit really hard by from a Bengals player. This game's so important to me because like Joe Burrow said in these past couple interviews, their main goal this year is to win the AFC North. Because I mean, last year, what if they didn't have to play that lollipop of a game in weeks 18? They probably would have went 0-7 in the division. So
Yeah. And obviously we were littered with injuries last year, but divisional games are always a coin flip. So moving into week 6 against the New York Football Giants, I see this as a sneaky difficult game. I really like the Giants' defensive line: Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Sexy Dexy in the middle. But the thing is, they have a good defensive line that matches up great against us. They don't have anything on offense. They have Malik Neighbors. We'll double team him. I can almost guarantee, unless someone else on that Giants offense has shown it, we are going to double team Malik Neighbors that entire game. And Daniel Jones is going to look lost against our defense. And I think it's just going to be, honestly, a slaughter. But I really like how they match up against us other than that.
Yeah, I have no idea how this is a primetime game. Daniel Jones and that Giants offense getting Sunday Night Football, but it just feels like 31-17, not really close at all the entire game. Like, Giants really don't show anything. We do just enough to make it not close, but it just seems like a game that will be forgettable to say. There's not much I can like put with like a factor to it. It's just the New York Giants, so
Yeah, they're in a tank off.
yeah, this is a game that Joe Burrow is going to get hit a few times, um, which is going to be good for him, just to get a little contact. Hopefully, nothing comes of it. But this is going to be a game where the offensive line is going to give up a few quarterback pressures, and it's going to let Joe Burrow look like Joe Burrow does under pressure, hitting those receivers that are one-on-one while under pressure. It's going to be an amazing game. I got this game being a complete blowout, as it being like 30, 31-10 or something like that. So I got it being a really good Bengals win.
Yeah, I think our first, other than the Chiefs, our first real true battle that I could see us legitimately losing goes into week 7, Nick, away against the Browns. Tell me what your thoughts are on that one.
I think we're going to lose that one just because we always lose those 12 p.m. at Cleveland, cloudy skies, depressing atmosphere. Like no one sees a game at Cleveland like, wow, what a majestic stadium. What a majestic game. I see a shootout right here. This is going to be fun. No, like it's sad. And it's all like unless something changes with those at Cleveland games, because when's the last time we beat them at their stadium? I don't know.
It's been a
Wow.
long
Yeah,
time.
like maybe 2017. It's maybe been that long, but I do think we're gonna probably lose this from unless something changes with that.
For sure, and it's definitely a difficult game to predict because we are the better team. Like, there's no doubt but the Browns always find a way to play us good. Myles Garrett has our number. Denzel Ward has our number. And I think it'll be a tough, gritty game. I don't want to say we've lost yet, but it's probably 60-40, and we're the lower half.
This is going to be a game where Zach Moss and Chase Brown, like I said, have to come up big. This is another game where Joe Burrow is really going to have to rely on his backs and his tight ends to win a ball game. Because as much as I love this offensive line, I think they're going to be a really great tandem together. I mean, Myles Garrett's going to be a Hall of Fame defensive end, so you're going to have to get the ball out quick no matter what. So your tight end, Jamar Chase, and screens to the running backs are going to be vital in this game.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna wait. Is it? No, it's you, Braden. Dang, you're getting all the good games. You've gotten Chiefs, Ravens, and now you get Eagles.
Eagles. This is going to be a huge game for Mr. Sheldon Rankins. New center. You still got that crazy good defensive line for the for the Eagles or offense. Yeah, you still got the crazy good offensive line. Sorry, I'm totally just looking into the stats for this.
I'm trying to see
So you
who
got
their
that
new
crazy.
center is.
Yeah, that's what I was trying
Cam
to look for
Jurgens.
too.
Probably Cam
Cam.
Jurgens. They probably just
It is
moved
Cam
the
Jurgens.
left guard.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. Sorry, That's what I've done. That's why I'm slow talking on this episode because I'm trying to figure out the stats. But anyway, this is gonna be a huge game for Sheldon Rankins. I want him to have a breakout game against the Philadelphia Eagles. I think it's also going to be a sneaky good game for Dax Hill. And here's why I say that: because AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are really, really good. DJ Turner will need some help. They are going to throw the ball a lot. You're going to need a little help.
And this is something I've been saying all year since they announced that Dax Hill is going to be trying corner. This is and I've used this game as an example. This is going to be one of those games where Cam Taylor-Britt's going to be corner one, but you're going to have Dax Hill on AJ Brown a lot. You're going to have, and you're going to see DJ Turner on Devonta Smith a lot. It's very matchup based. Dax Hill's a very a physical guy. Devonta Smith is not a physical guy, and if you combine them to what the strengths are, what they guard best, Dax Hill is the best matchup for AJ Brown. This is obviously negating Cam Taylor-Britt. I think we'll see a lot of Cam on AJ Brown with Dax kind of roaming. I'm sure we'll run a couple cover twos where I could see some Dax out there, some Vaughn. Our depth is so deep that our secondary is so deep. We could really see a multitude of guys. But this is one that if Dax Hill is out there, he's most likely going to be either roaming or on AJ Brown. I don't see him on Devonta Smith at all.
Yeah, a game like this, it just like screams like 2021 San Fran, where it was just high scoring, highlights everywhere, best players against best players, and I mean, just look at there's like Pro Bowlers and All Pro players across the board on both sides of the ball. So just feels like a 34-31 win for whoever gets the ball last, and probably will be a game of the year contender.
I'm not very high on Jalen Hurts at all, and I hope our defense can really help expose him. I think Jalen Hurts, because I say not high. I think he's a top 10 quarterback. I have him around 7 or 8, maybe 6. But a lot of people having consensus top 5, top 3, and I don't see it. He had one really, really good year, but ever since then, surrounding those, it's been pretty down.
Yeah, I'm not high on Jalen Hurts either. I think he's just another dual threat quarterback that you need film on to really understand. Lamar Jackson, I think like I said, I think he's a top 10 quarterback, but I think Lamar Jackson went through the same hump where people started to figure out, oh yeah, this guy can throw the ball decently, but he can run. So people started to be able to get film on him and find matchups that work, and now he's been able to defeat what they've done in the past. Now they're going to have to figure out a new way to contain him. I think it's going to be the same exact way with Jalen Hurts.
All right, moving on to week 9, and we either get Minshew Mania or Aiden O'Connell Disaster Class. Either way, I see this as a Bengals win. Devontae Adams, I have a feeling, is just going to get a smooth 130 and a touchdown on 8 or 9 receptions just because they don't know what to do other than feed Devontae, especially in a game like this where they feel completely suffocated all terms around. Max Crosby will probably get a sack, maybe a couple QB hits, but I really don't see us fighting super hard during this game, trying out some new stuff. And, Bengals win.
Yeah, with a game like this, it's just like it feels like one of those like defensive highlight games, like those Trey Hendrickson defensive player of the week, 3 sacks, or defense gets 3 picks because they have no run game. They lose Josh Jacobs, and they didn't get anyone new to replace him. And
They
their
got
QB,
Alexander Madison.
okay, so they got no one to replace him.
Yeah.
And their QBs are Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew, they're not guys you can really lean a pass game on. They're not guys you can say, get us 4,000 yards in a season. Like, even if you put those guys on like a Minnesota receiving room, they're not really, maybe Minshew, but not that much. So
That's right.
it seems like an easy Bengals win at Paycor Stadium.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is going
moving
to be
on.
a well
Oh,
coached
you man.
Antonio Pierce. This is going to be a well coached Antonio Pierce defense. But like you guys have said, Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell aren't going to be able to get the job done against this Bengals defense. It's a Bengals win.
Yeah, leading into week 10, I want to say is you Nick at Baltimore. What do you got?
Well, all I can hope for it doesn't end the same as the last Thursday night football at Baltimore. So if Burrow doesn't break his wrist there, then we're fine. But I feel like we're gonna split against Baltimore, and this feels like the game we will lose, just like with Cleveland. It feels like it's been a good since ever since Chase put up 200 on them, we haven't beaten Baltimore at their place. So, and it feels like every time we do go there, it's just like heartbreaking. We don't play good at all, or something really bad happens. So, I do see this as a Ravens win, but obviously it can split either way, home or away.
Absolutely. And honestly, I think this is a win. We're still as good as Jamar Chase is, we still haven't gotten that full Jamar Chase breakout season. You know, the 1,700, 1,800, even 1,600 yards. And I think this is the season to do it. This is the season we're poised to be our best offensively. Joe Burrow looks great coming off of that injury. Our offensive line is the best it's ever been, and Joe Burrow, for the past few years, has had some of the least time in the pocket. And when he does have that time, it is a perfectly thrown ball to someone in stride, and it's a 20-yard completion. And I think that this is the Jamar Chase, obviously not breakout game, but solidifying his breakout year. This is maybe the game where he breaks 800, 900 yards to where he's really carried that team. And I want to see another 200-yard game from him, which obviously is unlikely, but I'm predicting that this is the year Jamar Chase will go nuclear, and I think that'll ultimately help us. And honestly, I think the Ravens got worse. They added Derrick Henry. They lost Geno Stone, lost Patrick Queen, and I think the most underrated and important piece they lost is their defensive coordinator. Obviously, they promoted someone in house, but it's hard to replace a mind like that for someone who is just still around. That it's not the same person, and I think that our offense is going to be so different this year with our guys. I think that ultimately leads us to a win. All right,
Yeah, I think.
Braden. Oh,
Yep. So we're gonna be putting. Sorry, I was actually looking at the way that we're gonna be running this offense. My handy dandy plays right here that I'd be drawing up. Um, I think that we're gonna be able to put Jamar Chase in a lot of good spots to win routes. With this under center, with this Dan Pitcher offense, we're gonna be able to put Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Jermaine Burton, Andre Ochivas, Trent Irwin, those guys in positions to win a lot of routes. We're going to get the matchups that we like against them. I think this is another Bengals win. I think we're going to go in there and kind of shock the world a little bit because I think everyone outside of the people in the Bengals fandom has this marked off as a loss. I have this marked off as a win. I think the Bengals go and get a gritty win on I think it's what is it, on a Thursday night game, just a gritty Thursday night game. I think we come out there with a win.
we're going to see those Burrow on the sideline pictures all week, trying to throw the ball. We're going to see them everywhere. Week 11, Los Angeles. Braden, this is all you. Chargers, not Rams. Chargers.
Chargers. Ooh, a lot of new things to say about them. Got Harbaugh. Um, will the fasciitis from Herbert's foot still be bothering him by then? Who knows? I doubt it. Who else? They don't have Austin Eckler anymore. I'm not sure who they're running back. J.K. Dobbins, maybe.
J.K. and
And
Gus
then
Edwards.
and then
They have both of the Ravens.
they got financial advisors playing the wide receiver position. So I'm gonna say this is a great game for the Bengals defensive backroom. I think we get 3 interceptions, and we come away with a shockingly, excuse me, we come in with a shockingly close game, but a win because of our defense.
Yeah, this game it just feels like there's really not much of the Chargers secondary or linebacker core. They have two pretty all like out of their prime DN, so that defense it's like not much to worry about. Offensively, it's it's the O line you gotta worry about there, and Justin Herbert. Like just that O line alone will get any running back 5 yards a carry, just on how big those holes are. And but they have no tight. Well, they have Hayden Hurst. I can't diss on him, but they have no receivers to throw to. And even with the run, like the running backs will do good, but they're not going to make the plays themselves. So it should be a fairly easy Bengals win.
And I don't even think the first depth chart came out, and obviously that doesn't mean much, but it's projected that Hayden Hurst will be tight end 2 behind Will Dissly over there in LA, which is kind of weird. I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure I saw that. So skipping week 12, going into week 13, our first game against Pittsburgh. I see this as a win. So this is right around over the halfway season mark. There's a chance Justin Fields is starting, but there's obviously a chance Russell Wilson starting. I don't really think it matters, even if they do get Brandon Ayuk. I think it's gonna be a tough game, 23-20, 17-20. A really close, low-scoring game, defensive, gritty. The Steelers gained Patrick Queen. They gained health. They gained, I guess you could say, an upgrade in the quarterback room. Barely. Anything's an upgrade from Kenny Pickett. But I really just I like our matchups against these guys. I love the thought of Dax Hill on George Pickens this game. I love the thought of Cam Taylor-Britt on George Pickens this game. I love Chris Jenkins bottling up Najee Harris. I love Geno Stone face to face with Russell Wilson. I just really think we match out like perfectly with these guys.
Yeah, I mean this game, like I think the biggest factor to it is right tackle because every year TJ Watt's been in the league, he's always killed Cincinnati. Always been I don't know who we've had at right tackle. Bobby Hart, Well Collins. I don't know if Riley Reef played, but Jonah Williams, that one year in which he got killed by them. So whoever's there, you got massive, huge guys that can fight back and put some power into TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith that Bengals fans have never seen before. So if we can contain Watt, then it's an easy win.
Yeah, I want Amarius Mims or Trent Brown, whoever's playing at the time, to put their hands on somebody, and I actually want them to put their hands on them so aggressively that the bench is clear. I want this to be a old school rivalry game against the Steelers and Bengals, where it hasn't felt like it has been. It feels like this in division rivalries have kind of sizzled out for the Bengals and turned more into against teams like the Bills and teams like the Chiefs, just because we're all Super Bowl contenders. But when it comes to these division games, it doesn't feel as much hate as there used to be. So I just want this to be an old school Steelers versus Bengals game.
For sure. Next up, week 14, Dallas.
That one's. I want to say it should be tough, but there's just no run game to deal with. There's no I don't know what to think of it. It's just I don't know what to think of Dallas really. It's just some say they should be good, some say they are gonna fall off a cliff. You don't know what's gonna happen with CeeDee Lamb. You don't know. I think we'll win just because they have no run game to lean on, like a 29-year-old Zeke or Deuce Vaughn. So yeah, I think I'll go with a Bengals win here, but I think it'll be a close game. probably a lot of defense with Micah Parsons versus that. Oh, Parsons versus anyone is a bloodbath, but yeah, I think it'll be a close defensive game in the end.
Yeah,
I just hope Cincinnati comes out with the win. Go ahead.
yeah, I agree with you. I think Micah is honestly on his last year as a Cowboy. Um, Obviously they need to pay their top three. Micah, CD, Dak. If they pay Dak, CD, and Micah the projected what they're supposed to get, not overpaying, just projected, then those three would be taking up 44% of their salary cap in three players, which is egregious, and that's absolutely not going to happen. So one of the three is going to go. You're not going to get rid of Dak super easy because why would you do? Why would you get rid of your quarterback that really connects with your star wide receiver? That CD Lamb's 100% safe. There's no way you don't pay CD Lamb, and that kind of leaves Micah as the odd man out. And I think that he's gonna be hungry to really prove his worth. Not that he hasn't before, but yeah, I think it'll be a tough Micah game. This one is one I really debated for a while, whether or not we'd pull out with the win. But I do think we ultimately do.
I guess I'm going to be the odd man out here. I don't think we win this game. It's going to be a pretty rough game. It's going to be at AT&T Stadium. Um, Historically, we don't do well there. This is going to be a good Cowboys team. I mean, there's never a bad Cowboys team. Jerry Land is always pretty decently good. I just want to see a good game out of Burrow. I think we can get a good game out of Burrow. We can pull out with a win. I just think that secondary is pretty good with Deron Bland, Trayvon Diggs. It's pretty good secondary.
I think Deron Bland's overrated, but that's another conversation. Week 15 against Tennessee. This is you, Braden.
Tennessee. I hate Tennessee. My dad's a Titans fan. He's not actually a Titans fan, but he likes to think he's a Titans fan. He loves the Bengals. God, Will Levis is going to throw 8 interceptions this game. I'm saying he's just going to. This just seems like a great game for the Bengals secondary. I'm so stoked for this game. I think it's going to be a good December game, close to Christmas. This is going to be awesome.
I will be at this game. I do have a reputation of the games I go to, they don't end great. I was at the DeMar Hamlin game. So hopefully nothing happens like that. But yeah, I'll be here in Nashville, and I'm excited. This is gonna be a bloodbath. I think a bloodbath, as in we are going to be slaughtering them. Will Levis, I believe in him, but when he plays an elite edge rusher combined with elite corners and a secondary that communicates that all works as one, it's not going to go his way, especially with. I mean, he has what 30-year-old slow wide receivers. It's just it's not a great combo, and I think it's a Bengals win.
Okay, you might hate me for this. I think we're going to lose against Tennessee for one reason. Callahan.
Yeah.
He knows everything Lou Anarumo does and what Zach Taylor game plans. Like usually when even the bad coaches of that came from other teams, when they play their former team, they know exactly what they're doing and game plan perfect. Like Matt Patricia beat Bill Belichick in 2018. Like those kind of games where, I mean, if Patricia can beat Belichick, then Callahan can definitely beat Zach Taylor. And I think that's what's going to happen here just as a coaching thing. It's going to be a short week. I think it's 6 days in this one. I just think it's going to be one we're not prepared for. And with all the factors, just feels like a game we let slip by.
Yeah. Yeah, and going into next week, week 16 against the Browns, this is actually where I think we do lose at home, Thursday night football, because this is our third game in 11 days.
Yeah.
We're going to be exhausted. It's the Browns. It's never an easy game. End of the year. By this point, obviously we play the Steelers next week, but at the end of the year, this is pretty much solidified who's won the division, or you need to win one more game or one. And I think we're just going to kind of be looking too far ahead into the playoffs and kind of lose this one from underneath us. Have to come into Pittsburgh week 18 and really just lay down the hammer and win the division then.
Yeah, I think this one will actually, if my prediction's right, they'll lose to Tennessee. Wake up call. This game will probably be like how the Bills game was, like the atmosphere of each section orange and black. Just a huge crowd is with you. You got the atmosphere. You got a wake-up call of Tennessee that you got to play better. I think they will send a message to like the Kansas Cities, the Ravens, the Bills, the Texans that like, we're here. This is our division. I think they will kill Cleveland.
Yeah, this is going to be the jungle's rocking the game. This is going to be right in the playoff push area, so they're going to definitely need the fans to help. It's right around that time where their bodies are feeling kind of sore. I mean, this is going to be a game where they're coming back from playing a lot of games in 11 days. They're just going to need that extra team atmosphere to lean on to get that win.
Mark my words. We're going to be throwing in a lot of extra bodies this game. We're going to see a pretty deep rotation of guys. We're going to see you ready? This is going to be Lance Robinson Jr.'s breakout game right here. We're calling it right now. He's going to get some reps and he's going to absolutely dominate. Going into
Shout out my boy Lance.
Yeah, shout out Lance. Going into week 17, we have the Denver Broncos. I mean, are the Broncos even going to play their starters? They might not. It's going to be a tank off for them. They might need one more loss to get the number 1 overall pick, or they're going to be trying to lose, and we're going to be trying to get that easy win at the end of the year. And I think this is going to be a 40-3 type win. This is going to be our biggest win of the season. We always heat up at the end of the season, and this is a perfect game just to really, really lay it on and get us ready for Pittsburgh in Week 18.
Yeah, there's not much to this game. It's just Week 17. Broncos will probably rotate a QB by then on who's starting. Probably try other personnel and people to try to spark something at the end. But it's just going to be a blowout. Hopefully not on a Saturday because no one wants to watch that on prime time, but overall should be a fairly easy win.
Yeah, I hope the Bengals just absolutely destroy them this game. I just want that one game, that Atlanta Falcons 2022 type game, that Ravens 2021
Panthers.
type game. That Panthers game. I just want to see one of those games where we just obliterate somebody, where we just come in and be like, yeah, like I'm here.
Honestly, I could see that happening in Week 3 as well, against the Commanders, or in Week 1. I don't think it'll happen Week 1 against the Patriots, just because both teams have had so much time to prepare and scheme. But one of those bad teams early off, we catch off guard. Then finally, Week 18 in Pittsburgh. Is this whose is this? Is this yours, Nick?
I just think it's going to be the backup game. Like, who was it that 2021 Browns game we had? We had Brandon Allen throwing touchdowns to Chris Evans, or just a game where if you love obscure Bengals, the backups, the practice squad people, this game will be for you. No one's going to play that's like meaningful unless they're like very young and raw. It's probably, in this case, it will be a Bengals loss. Don't know if Pittsburgh will be pushing for the playoffs at that point, but hopefully they have the division clinched at that point.
I think the only starter that I think really plays this game some serious reps are Dax Hill and DJ Turner, getting them into like a real game. And I don't think CTB plays at all, but putting one of those two guys rotating in as corner one, just seeing how they feel, I think we'll see that a little bit.
I think it depends on how the Ravens and Browns look, to be honest with you. I just think it comes down to winning the division. Like Joe Burrow said, like I said earlier, Joe Burrow really wants to win the division this year. I think it comes down to how close we are to clinching the division. If we have a game where we can clinch the division, if we can clinch the division before the last week, I think then we rest all of the starters. But historically, if we think we're going to win the division, we will play our starters.
And that wraps up the season. If we add it up, totality, we have us going 14 and 3. Because I think majority had Cleveland losing, majority had Dallas. I think you guys both said Dallas. Um, there's one more. Ravens, one of the Ravens games. So yeah, 14 and
Yeah,
3,
that does
probably
seem 13-4, 14-3, maybe 12-5, which like record wise, that's probably I think that's the best the Bengals were doing a regular season in the Burrow era, in which it doesn't feel that way just because they always go on these long win streaks in the second half of the season, and you mainly forget about those first half duds you have. Like, no one remembers the Titans game last year because no one wants to remember that.
Yeah.
all right. That wraps it up, and I'm assuming we win every playoff game going into Super Bowl. We go undefeated. Texans, I'm not scared of. Bills, I'm not scared of. Chiefs are really the only Chiefs and Ravens. But I think if we win the division, I think the Ravens will see the Ravens play the Chiefs ultimately. So that's one of the two teams I think we're really nervous for. Get knocked out, and we'll see. Hopefully, see either one of the Chiefs or the Ravens in the AFC Championship play. Who's our ideal matchup for the Super Bowl? Like not for like a realistic game that like Lions. I think we could lay down the Lions.
Green
Um
Bay,
Green we destroy Green Bay. It wouldn't even be close.
I don't
Uh
know. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to step on toes because you know how that goes. We think we're gonna roll over somebody in the Super Bowl.
yeah. Yeah. But yeah,
I don't think. I don't
that's
think my heart. I don't think. Sorry. I don't think my heart can take another Super Bowl loss. I think I'll shatter into pieces.
me too. That makes two of us. That is all we have for today. Let us know in the description or in the Google form. You know, leave us a little review. Tell us what you thought of Nick. You amazing guest. Thank you for coming on again. If you are on YouTube, go to Spotify, rate us 5 stars. If you are on Spotify, go to YouTube, subscribe, like, comment. Link trees will be in all the descriptions. Nick's Instagram, Twitter, YouTube channel, Bengals Storm, and the 513 podcast will all be there. Go check him out for his. Would you call yourself daily?
what?
Your post daily?
Yeah,
Look at
especially mainly
for
on Instagram.
yeah. Go look at an Instagram for daily content. Go look at his podcast for some cool interviews, cool takes on Bengals stuff. Anything else from either you, Nick, or Braden?
Just who they win the Super Bowl. That's all I want.
See you later, everybody. Who day?
See you later.